Okay, hi, welcome back. Today I wanted to answer two questions. So, in fact, I might start doing this regularly because I'm getting a lot of them, and more importantly, I really like answering them. So, if you have any questions that you want me to answer in a video, drop them in the comments, or you can send me a message through my Facebook page, which, like, Zoe is fine, but also facebook.com/romance your brand is a good place to put those questions because then they don't get lost among all the messages about books, right? So today I'm going to answer two questions. The first question is social media essential for authors? That's question number one. And question number two, what are my thoughts about box sets? So I'm going to cover both of those in this video, and let's do the first one first. So, question, is social media essential for authors? And really, this falls under the category of reader cultivation, right? So the question is a loaded one, and I think that you know it when you ask. What you're saying is, I don't like social media as an author. How do I navigate that, right? So don't think about it like, do I have to do something? That's not the question, right? The question is, how do I cultivate readers when I don't like social media? And also, stop thinking about it like, is social media necessary or essential for authors? And just acknowledge that having an internet footprint is necessary for a brand. I'm going to tell a quick story. It's not about authors. So when Sadie Haller, she writes the Frisky Beaver series with me, when she came to visit me, I wanted to take her to all the different coffee shops in town, like the nice hipstery ones that would make like a really, like a pour over and like a, custom macchiato and fancy coffee shops. So I asked on social media what coffee shops people liked and recommended, and they recommended some ones that I had enjoyed, and also some that I hadn't heard of or hadn't visited yet. And one of those coffee shops, we went and we did a tour. We explored a bunch of really nice coffee shops. And then this coffee shop, and I can't even remember what it's called, but it started with an R, like it was like Rebel or Recognize or something like that. I put the address into Google Maps, and we headed off for it and drove down the block that I thought it would be on, and I couldn't see it. And we looped back, and Google Maps told me I was in the right spot, so we parked. We got out, and there it was, without any sign. It had this little sandwich board right outside the door with the name in little tiny fonts. It was the aesthetic was very minimalist, very interesting. We go inside, and they have like a tablet set up for payment, but they said, oh, we're only doing cash today. Okay, we had cash on us, it's fine. Really amazing cup of coffee. The next day they closed. Like literally the next day. We went there accidentally on the very last day they were open because their business model didn't work, because literally you could not find them. So, in a digital marketplace like ebooks, an internet footprint is essential for a brand. It's the sign on your building. It's the sign on the wall. You don't need to actively manage it if it is not your thing. You can certainly hire somebody for that. In another video, I talked about time and money. Those are the two things that need to be invested in a business, and if you can't invest one, then you must invest the other. This is an example of, if it's not for you, then you could hire somebody to manage that for you. That's certainly an option. Do I think that people who put a personal touch on their social media do better in some circles of romance? Absolutely. That's a natural advantage that they have, but you aren't going to get that advantage by emulating them if it's not your thing. Lean into your strengths, right? Don't forever waste a lot of energy on the fact that something doesn't come naturally to you. But I'm not going to give you permission to not have a Facebook page. I'm not going to give you permission to not have any social media at all, because then you'd be like that coffee shop, right? So you want to grab the internet footprint that where people will search for you. Facebook is one of the most popular search engines in the world. People will search for your name there just as likely as they are to Google it. So like, it's good to have a Facebook page. And so then on that Facebook page, what you want to make sure is that your most recent post, the one that people will find if they go and search of you, is a post that is relevant. It's about your newest release, and it points to your website or your books on Amazon or another retailer, right? So that's the thing that's the bare minimum that you need to do on social media. Do you need to post memes? Do you need to create lots of organic content? No, you don't need to do that. If you have that strength, then you will get something out of it. If you don't have that strength, it's probably not a good use of your time. You should be, writing books. And then the other thing that I would say is that not all social media feels the same when you're operating it as a brand as opposed to as yourself. Like, I don't really, because obviously Zoe is not like who I always am. Zoe is a brand. And as Zoe, I'm super active on social media. And as Rebecca, which is my real name, I haven't checked Facebook in like a year and a half. So if you think about it as you are a brand manager, and you get into a routine there, it might take a while for it to feel natural, but that's all that I'm asking you to be. I'm not asking you to bare your soul on social media at all. All right, if that answered your question, let me know. If it didn't, if you have follow-up questions about social media, please put them in the comments, and I'm happy. This is a topic I can talk about forever. Okay, and then the second question was, what are my thoughts on box sets? And my thoughts on box sets are, well, it depends what kind you're talking about. So, okay, so let's break this down. So box sets are one way for you to bundle your own existing backlist, a bunch of your books, either a complete series or a bunch of first in series together. You can do all sorts of different combinations. Yes, all of them. And put them up on the retailers as like a collected works. And this is great. One limitation is that Amazon, if you publish through Amazon KDP, then the royalty band, 99 cents up to 99 cents and $1.99, like anything up to $2.98, you make 35% royalty on. And then from $2.99 to $9.99, you make 70% royalty. But over $9.99, it drops back to 35% royalty, which is not ideal. Like, you don't want to make less on an $11.99 box set that you would on an $8.99 box set, right? So those box sets that are like all the books in your series, they are great on Kobo, particularly. Kobo readers love them, and Apple Nook, but not on Amazon. So one option is to just not list those box sets on Amazon and have them everywhere else for the readers that are there. The first in series box sets, particularly like if they are like a loss leader, so they're 99 cents or they're free, yes, absolutely, put those on all the retailers. And then the third box set option would be multi-author box set, like an anthology. And I love anthologies. I will put my book in an anthology. I'll put one of my backlist books in an anthology literally every month if somebody offers to organize it. I don't organize them myself that much because they're a lot of work, so like full respect to those who organize them. If you want to organize one yourself, then that's a really great cross-promotional effort that you can offer to another author to do some of that heavy lifting there. I think that the read-through on them is variable. Like, you really, if you're thinking about a multi-author anthology or box set, you want the hook to be really tight. You want all the stories in the set to be like, to have a singular thematic promise, ideally, or at least be like all Navy SEALs or all small town romances, something like that. The more varied the stories, the lower the read through across all the books, and also probably the lower the open rate in the first place. And putting your book in a collection that never actually gets opened doesn't really have any value to you. Even if it lifts your rank temporarily like on the storefront, I don't really have a lot of time for exercises like that. What I primarily want to see is anthologies that get opened, and it just got really sunny, so I'm like, no, I'm squinting. Anthologies that get opened and read. So pick your projects carefully. Again, this loops back to my last video of are you being your own acquisitions editor? And don't, like, say yes to a lot, but don't say yes to absolutely everything. Those are my thoughts on box sets. I think that they, particularly if it's like your own collection of your own titles, they are a nice monthly event if you have literally nothing else you can do, but I rank them below making a new book free, a single title free, and definitely far below like a true new release. That being said, like if you come up with a really awesome title and a really awesome cover, you can turn your own anthology into quite the event. And that would be a really good challenge. Actually, that might be a good cover video for me to do, is talk about, yeah, I like that idea. Okay, so I'm gonna, maybe over the weekend, I will do a video on making your own cover for an anthology as opposed to a single title book. That would be a really good project. That would be a good use of time while we're all stuck at home like this. So let's do that. All right. I hope that answered those 2 questions. And if you have any more questions you want me to answer, hit me up in the comments.